Hey guys, YouTuber Hunter here. Okay, and I figured, with it being February, and I figured that I would do, kind of like another retro, uh, wrestling, pay-per-view review. And yeah, and really, I've never really talked about any, Super Brawl shows before, or so I figured that with it being February, I could, make a Super Brawl related review for you guys. So, yeah, and so that is what this is going to be. For this review, this is going to be a review for the match at Super Brawl V between Hulk Hogan and Vader. So, yeah, so I decided that I would review this match because of course this was really like a real big dream match for a lot of people at the time because yeah, Hulk Hogan was just like coming off the heels of like his feud with Ric Flair a few months earlier. And and with that feud then coming to a close at that time, and WCW then came with Vader as Hulk Hogan's next big opponent to feud with in the WCW. Yeah, of course they did something stupid at Starrcade where Hulk Hogan did have a match with the Butcher, aka Brutus the Barber Beefcake. I have no idea why they did that. I mean, guess it was just because he was Hulk Hogan's friend, right? Yeah, but yeah, this was really the next big feud for Hulk Hogan in WCW at the time. Yeah, so yeah, like I said, this was a real big dream match for a lot of people at the time. So yeah, so I figured it would be appropriate to make a review for this match. So yeah, so I decided to just stick to reviewing just this match alone and not really review the whole Super Brawl V show because yeah, Super Brawl V, oh man, show this show really did absolutely suck. Of course 1995 really was uh uh yeah, 1995 for WCW, it was just a really just yeah, I mean, of course the WWF was really horrible in 1995. I've talked about it before, with WrestleMania 11 and King of the Ring that year, and just yeah, 1995 was just an awful year for the WWF, and yeah, it was awful for WCW as well. And yeah, 1995 was just, 1995 absolutely sucked. I mean, of course, 1995 in WCW was, of course, the year of Nitro's debut, but yeah, still just, yeah, that was really, the only true, big highlight of 1995. Just, 1995 was just, filled with, some really horrible, shows, and, yeah, just a lot of the, stuff going on in WCW at that time was just, really bad, and it just really was, really just, 1995 really was just, probably, one of the worst, periods for WCW at this time. Of course, like, there was, of course, the horrible 1999 to 2001 period, when WCW just went downhill and was just kept going, getting lower and lower and lower into the ground, and wasn't coming back. But yeah, this was a pretty bad time in the WCW as well. Well, yeah, and like I said, just Super Brawl V, just yeah, the show just was pretty bad overall. Yeah, let me just go over the card for Super Brawl V. You had Paul Roma and Alex Wright, which really was not a very good match. You had Jim Duggan versus Bunkhouse Buck, which sucked. You had Dave Sullivan and Kevin Sullivan, which sucked. You had Harlem Heat defending the tag team titles against the Nasty Boys, which was okay, but nothing really that memorable about it. You had Blacktop Bully and Dustin Rhodes, which wasn't very good. But you had a Sting and Macho Man against Avalanche and Big Bubba Rogers, which that was decent enough, I guess. I mean, yeah, definitely one of the better matches on the show. Probably just the second best match on the show. And then yeah, then you had this match as the main event: Hulk Hogan and Vader for the WCW title, which overall was a pretty good match. So yeah, so so yes, so the show it did seem to really improve a little bit with the last two matches, but yeah, it was still just a really awful show. Just yeah, so I didn't really want to talk about the entire show. I just really just wanted to talk about this match because yeah, this is really just the only true memorable match from the show. It's just going to be a review for the match and not the whole SuperBrawl V show. Yeah. So really just the hostilities between like Hulk Hogan and Vader began like kind of like at the end of Starrcade 1994 after Hulk Hogan defeated the Butcher as he was celebrating his win in the in the backstage area in his locker room with like a whole bunch of other wrestlers like Macho Man, and it showed like Jerry Saggs was there, and Mean Gene was there interviewing Hulk Hogan. Yeah, in like his post match interview, like Vader then barged in Hulk Hogan's locker room and confronted him, and basically just like challenged him to a match for the title. Then that ended up like kicking off like the feud between these two, which then led to them having their match here. Yeah, so I just so I'm really not sure like why they decided to just like have the feud like kick off like at the end of Starrcade a couple of months before this. I don't really see like why they like just gave Hulk Hogan his a match with the Butcher or Brutus Beefcake, whatever you want to call him, at Starrcade, like WWE's biggest pay-per-view of the year. Like, couldn't they have had like the Hulk Hogan Vader feud like kick off there and like have them have a match there instead of Brutus Beefcake, and then have their first matchup be here at SuperBrawl? Like there were just I just felt like there could have been like a couple other ways they could have like used Hulk Hogan for Stark instead of like giving him like a dumb match with Brutus Beefcake. Like, of course, like I said, like Hulk Hogan like defeated Ric Flair at Halloween Havoc, and that was like a retirement match. So Ric Flair was gone, but couldn't they? Couldn't they have like just extended the feud out a little bit more, and then like have them have a match at Starrcade to have that be a retirement match, or even like after the retirement match, like after the Ric Flair feud ended right there, like couldn't they have like just like then have had Hulk Hogan feud with Vader like right after that, and then have them have a match at Starrcade instead? There were like a couple of other ways they could have done Hulk Hogan and Starrcade. They could have like actually had this feud start off earlier and have them face off at Starrcade, but yeah, they didn't, and they instead like just decided to have like the feud like kick off like at the end of Starrcade, then have them have their first matchup here at SuperBrawl. So it was what it was, but yeah, there could have been like a couple other ways they could have like done it instead. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, so. Yeah, and like I said, this was like a real big dream match for a lot of people at the time, because of course like with like how dominant like Vader really was in WCW for like the past few years in the company at the time, like before Hulk Hogan had actually come to WCW. Of course, like Vader like was the WCW World Champion and all that and stuff. So yeah, Vader really was like one of like the true like big stars for WCW in the prior years and stuff. And yeah, now with Hulk Hogan then coming to WCW, of course, like people really did want to see like Hulk Hogan face Vader. And so WCW did give the people what they wanted. And yeah, they had their first meeting here at SuperBrawl. And like I said, the match overall, it was a good match overall. It really wasn't like absolutely like great or anything. Like it wasn't like absolutely like true classic, but yeah, it was an entertaining match. And they did really make Hulk Hogan look pretty good here. Like, I've talked before how like Hulk Hogan has really like had overall a good history of working with like the bigger guys. Like his matches like with guys like Andre the Giant and King Kong Bundy, and even like when he did like have like that small rivalry with like Earthquake, which like led to them like having a match at SummerSlam in 1990. That was like overall like pretty decent too. Yeah, so Hulk Hogan overall like has had a good history in working with like the bigger guys, and this really is like another one. Like this is another example of like Hulk Hogan working relatively good with like the bigger guys. Yeah, this was overall a pretty good match, and Hulk Hogan really did like do pretty good here, and he did look pretty well with Vader. Though there were some points in the match like where it really wasn't like really able to buy like there were times where like Hulk Hogan did kind of like make some comebacks by hulking up, and they just really didn't work. But yeah, as far as like the in-ring work between like Hulk Hogan and Vader, it did overall it was like solid action between the two of them. Like Hulk Hogan really did work well with Vader. Yeah, and he really did like have overall like a pretty good and realistic match with Vader. So this was a pretty good match overall. So yeah, so I would give this match, I guess, probably like, I don't know, I guess I would go like around like the 3.25 out of 5. Yeah, probably like, yeah, it's probably is around like the 3.25, 3.5 star range. Yeah, it is like somewhere in that range. So it is overall like a good match, not a great masterpiece or anything, but yeah, it is good overall. So yeah, so I guess I'll just talk a little about the match itself. Yeah, so so as the match started, it started off with Hulk Hogan really just throwing some punches at Vader, but they didn't really phase him. And yeah, Vader removed like his mask very early in the match. Yeah, and so then and Hulk Hogan really was just like trying to really beat down Vader, but it just seemed that nothing that he was doing really was like phasing Vader at all. Like the punches that he threw at Vader really didn't seem to phase him, and then yeah, Hulk Hogan then tried to go for an armbar on Vader, but Vader like was able to battle out of it, and then he fought back on Hulk Hogan, was just like throwing him around the ring, and then eventually then just as Hulk Hogan was in the corner, Vader then hit an avalanche on him. Then it eventually then did like spill out of the ring, and then Hulk Hogan then at one point then like threw Vader right into the steel barricade, right into Ric Flair, because Ric Flair was like sitting front row for the match. So yeah, and so Hulk Hogan just like threw Vader like right into the guardrail, right, and yeah, Vader like fell right over it and almost like fell into Ric Flair, but Ric Flair was able to like move out of the way. Yeah. And then it eventually then ended up spilling back into the ring, and then like Hulk Hogan like was just like doing like trying to like beat down Vader as good as he could, and just really tried to beat him down. But then at one point then Hulk Hogan then was able to knock Vader out of the ring again with like a big boot and a clothesline. And then at one point, like Hulk Hogan actually did try to go for like a scoop slam on Vader, but he wasn't able to get Vader up. And as he was like trying to lift the Vader, he just fell back, and Vader like just fell right on top of him. So it's kind of similar to like in the WrestleMania 3 match with Andre, like early on when Hulk Hogan tried to pick up Andre and he fell back. Yeah, it was kind of like similar to that with what happened here. Yeah. Then at one point, like, it even showed like Hulk Hogan really was like starting to down himself against Vader, because at one point, like, it actually showed like Hulk Hogan just like saying that Vader was too strong. So yeah, Hulk Hogan really was even like doubting himself, thinking that like Vader was too powerful for him. Then Vader then hit his Vader bomb on Hulk Hogan and tried to go for a cover, but Hulk Hogan was able to kick out of it. And then then we like was just like a real unbelievable move for Vader. Like then Vader then went up to the top turnbuckle. Then he attempted to hit a moonsault on the Hulk Hogan, but Hulk Hogan moved out of the way. And just damn, how was Vader so like acrobatic like that? Like Vader was like 450 pounds. How was he able to be so acrobatic and do a moonsault? Like, how did he do that? Like, I mean, because of course, like a lot of like the real big guys, like really are not like very like acrobatic and really are unable to like do like a lot those like moonsaults and everything. I mean, like with like Big Show, Andre, Yokozuna, Rikishi, Kamala, like all those like really really big guys, like a lot of them like really are not really like that like acrobatic, and they can't do it. But Vader was able to. Like, how could he do that when he was so huge? So yeah, I've just like always been just absolutely amazed by just like how acrobatic Vader was. Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, Hulk Hogan moved out of the way of the moonsault. Yeah, then Vader then went after Hulk Hogan out of the ring. Then this was something where like the booking just really doesn't make sense. Like as they were on the outside of the ring, Hulk Hogan then like he grabbed a chair and hit Vader with it on the outside of the ring, but yet there was no disqualification for that. Like at first I was thinking like was the referee like down or something, or was the referee not looking at it? But then after Hulk Hogan hit Vader with the chair, then like the referee then ended up like just like ran up to Hulk Hogan, just like talking to him, telling him like not to do that. But and then even like when the referee like went back into the ring, Hulk Hogan then hit Vader with the chair again. Like why isn't the referee calling for the ball? Like this wasn't a no disqualification match. I mean, I'm not really sure how things really worked back then, but like back then, like in the WCW and stuff, like was there like no disqualifications on the outside of the ring? Like I know WCW really did like have these like really like strange rules. Like I've like back in the day, like the WCW had like the rule where you couldn't throw your opponent over the top rope, or else that would be a disqualification. So yeah, they did have rules like that. So I'm not sure if like this was another rule where there were no disqualifications on the outside of the ring. So I didn't really like quite understand this. Like, how does that make sense? Then there was like some more of this booking with like no disqualification being called like at another point in the match. But yeah, I'll talk about that in just a minute. Then eventually then as they got back into the ring, then Vader then was able to like deliver a chokeslam to Hulk Hogan. But then as Vader like was going for a cover, Hulk Hogan then started to Hulk up, and he was like then like hit like the big boot and the leg drop on Vader. But Vader was able to survive it and kicked out of a pin attempt. Then Vader then, like, as Hulk Hogan was, like, talking to the referee, Vader, like, just ran into Hulk Hogan and caused Hulk Hogan to knock down the referee. Then Vader delivered a powerbomb to Hulk Hogan, and then Vader, like, tried to cover Hulk Hogan, but of course the referee was out. Then Ric Flair just, like, came into the ring, and then was just, like, making 3 count for some reason. Ric Flair just like randomly just like ran into the ring and like made that like quick 3 count for some reason. Like nothing even happened. Then he like tried to like revive the referee and throw, and he like put the referee like right beside Hulk Hogan and Vader. And then Ric Flair actually did attack Hulk Hogan like right in front of the referee. Like the referee was like looking right at it. Like even like if the referee was like groggy and like still like coming around, like it still showed like the referee was like just like facing it as it happened. So like it was like right in front of his face. So like, and the referee still didn't call for the bell. So like what is going on here? Like this just made me like question the disqualification logic even more. Like what I was just talking about with like Hulk Hogan using the chair. Here, like for that one, like with Hulk Hogan like doing it out of the ring, it made me like question like if there were no disqualifications outside of the ring in WCW during this time. But this was like this was inside of the ring, and the referee was like looking right at it. So why didn't the referee call for the bell there? So it just didn't make any sense at all. But then Vader then like tried to like then like Vader then hit his splash on Hulk Hogan, but he tried to go for the pin again, but Hulk Hogan survived it again. And then after Vader then hit a suplex on Hulk Hogan then tried to Hulk up again, and then he then ended up tossing Vader out of the ring. Then Ric Flair ran into the ring again and attacked Hulk Hogan, and then the referee then calls for the bell and disqualifies Vader. So, and I didn't even understand why Ric Flair did this, because it's not even like the referee was like still down. Like the referee was like back up and like totally like was aware of everything that was going on. So why did Ric Flair do that right in front of the referee? And why did the referee call for the disqualification here when there were like the two other spots I just talked about where he should have done it as well. So this doesn't make any sense at all. Why it took like 3 times for something illegal to happen for the referee to finally call for disqualification. Yeah, and yeah, so yeah, then Hulk Hogan like ended up like being declared the winner by disqualification here, and then yeah, and then afterwards, then like Ric Flair and Vader were then double teaming Hulk Hogan, and then yeah, Vader like Ric Flair had Hulk Hogan in the figure four, then Vader like was gonna go up to the top to do like another splash on Hulk Hogan, but then then the Macho Man and Sting then ran out to make the save, and yeah, Vader and Ric Flair bolted from the ring. So yeah. Yeah, and then afterwards, then Macho Man and Sting were celebrating Hulk Hogan's victory in the ring together. So yeah, so a lot of people have complained about like Hulk Hogan not putting Vader over here. A lot of people say that Vader should have gone over here, and to be quite honest, I find it really hard to argue with that. Yeah, I mean, especially given like how this finish was, like it was just stupid, like Ric Flair just coming in and attacking Hulk Hogan right in front of the referee and being a disqualification that way, I mean, and especially like with the other two things that should have been called for disqualification also, and it didn't. So yeah, so it really doesn't make sense like that finish, and it just like was so dumb. Yeah. And really, I just really cannot really argue with like people saying that Vader should have gone over. I find it really hard to do that. Now, because I mean, Hulk Hogan and Vader like they did like continue to feud in the WCW for like the next several months. Like they like face each other like at Uncensored the next pay-per-view. And then then they also like it was Hulk Hogan and Macho Man then taking on like Vader and Ric Flair at the following pay-per-view. And then, of course, like that year at Bash at the Beach, Hulk Hogan and Vader faced off again in a cage match for the title. And Vader did not even go over one time in this feud. Like even if Vader didn't like go over here, I mean, I really do feel that Vader should have at least gone over at one of the shows. Like even if like you did like want to like still have like Hulk Hogan win here, I mean you could like given him like just a straightforward win, and then possibly like then have Vader like actually win the title like at Uncensored, and then possibly then like have in their cage match at Bash at the Beach have that be where Hulk Hogan does like regain the title. But no, Hulk Hogan just like Hulk Hogan like won each and every match that during their feud. So yeah, so really just I really can't argue that Vader really should have gone over at some point during this feud. Like whether it should have been here or at Uncensored or even or at any other point in the feud, like Vader should have at least gone over once, and he didn't. So yeah, so this just really did make Vader look pretty weak overall. Yeah, so really just so I can't really argue with Vader. Vader like should have gone over at some point. I mean, even if he didn't go over here, it should have like at least been at Uncensored or somewhere. Yeah, this is another thing I was talking about where they could have like had the feud like kick off like after the feud with Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair after like Hulk Hogan won at Halloween Havoc. Like they could have like had the match at Starrcade and possibly like have Hulk Hogan like win the match straightforward there, and then possibly like have Vader actually go over here and like have them like continue on their feud up to Bash at the Beach where Hulk Hogan does regain the title. So yeah, so there were like definitely like just other ways they really could have done this, where at least Vader could have gone over and gotten the title at some point, but yeah, they never did, and this really made Vader look pretty bad and stuff, and yeah, and even like when Vader did go to the WWF, like of course like he did like go after Shawn Michaels for the WWF title in 1996, and he didn't win it there either, so yeah, it's just like Vader was just absolutely done with a world title at this point, like he just was never going to see it again, so I find that quite unfortunate for Vader, yeah. But yeah, regardless of like the booking with like Vader should have gone over. Yeah, this match still was at least good and enjoyable for the most part. Like it did overall deliver. Like it wasn't something that was like absolutely boring and just it was an absolute fail. I mean, the booking really didn't make a lot of sense, but the in-ring work itself was still solid enough. So yeah, so like I said, I give it like around like 3.25 out of 5. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so. Yeah, so I really do not recommend watching SuperBrawl 5 at all. Like, I do not recommend watching the entire show, but yeah, if you are looking for a highlight of the show, and you do, and if this is like a dream match that you are like really wanting to see, yeah, go ahead and check this match out. Like, yeah, I think this will keep you entertained enough. All right, so I guess that's all I can really say about it. All right. So I guess that's it for my review of Hulk Hogan versus Vader at SuperBrawl V. So I hope you guys did enjoy this review, and yeah, and also with it being February, like for the last few years, of course, like for February, I have like made like No Way Out reviews. Like I have always like made like a retro No Way Out review every year for February for the last few years. So that is probably like what I'm gonna do next. I am probably going to like make a another retro No Way Out review. Yeah, that I'm gonna be like going out of town tomorrow overnight, and I'm gonna be coming back Sunday. So the review will probably either be on like Sunday or Monday. Yeah, it's probably gonna be like one of those 2 days, because yeah, so I'm gonna like watch the show and then I'll make the review. So it'll be either on Sunday or Monday. Yeah. So stay tuned for that coming up next. Sorry. But yeah, so I hope you guys did enjoy this review. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.